Good evening and happy New Year's. You are on the couch with Sharita. I am Sharita, and thank you so much for joining me here on Hindsight Media Radio 103.5 FM. Wherever you are in the world, happy New Year's. Yeah, this is such a great way to bring in the new year. I pray that your holidays, your Christmas, Thanksgiving, all those things was great and blessed. Yeah, we just, just so thankful to just have another opportunity to just be here with you guys. And thank you for tuning in with me this evening. This evening, I have not just a special guest, but the possibility of having a new co host. My sister is here, Connie.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year.
So this is so awesome. So not only do you have the pleasure of hearing me, you'll have the pleasure of hearing us bringing you some fun things every Thursday at 7. So make sure you're tuning in. Um, Connie, I think well, before we came on, she and I were just talking, but Connie is cooking oxtails.
Yes.
Is that the thing to do for New Year's to bring in the new year with oxtails?
Well, it's just something that I had a taste for. So along with the black eyed peas, there'll be the oxtails, maybe a little pan of cornbread since I'm a household of one. But I just had a taste for that, so that's what I'm going to throw in the crock pot, and that's what I'm going to have, along with a nice bottle of red wine, and just celebrate being here for another year, and also not to make resolution, but just resolve to be a better me going forward.
Right. I I I'm just I don't know, New Year's, I'm just bringing it in, just being lazy, I guess. I don't know. Just chilling. But you talk about the oxtails. I love oxtails, and I have an oxtail man, like he's my dope dealer or something. He's behind my house at Publix. And every so often I'll go to Publix just to see if he's there, just so that I can get me a plate. And it's always good. But I'll say this. I like going when he's just about to get ready to go, like to leave at the end of the evening. Because it's kind of like getting the bottom of the barrel stuff that's left. And typically he gives, I guess the plate is a little fuller, I guess, if I can say that. But it's always the last little bit, that's always, if that makes any sense. It's kind of like getting down to the last. Really?
You're totally opposite for me. I do not like the bottom of the pot stuff.
I love the bottom of the pot
I
stuff.
don't. I think it's overdone. I mean, it's not burned
Really?
or inedible, but I just don't prefer that. That's just me.
I love the bottom of the pot stuff. Because it seems like that's the best. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, but and anyway, Connie's bringing in the new year with her oxtails, and I'm bringing in the new year by staying in my bed. So
okay,
maybe I'll go get some oxtails later. But I have him on speed dial. That's my man. I mean, I got him on speed dial, so I'll check him out. So tonight I don't know. Connie and I were talking about some things, the happenings, things that we've just kind of come across and run across. And so tonight we wanted to bring a topic to the table that I have been hearing a lot about. And it's a question that came up by one of the TikTokers, social media influencers, I guess. And everybody just kind of jumped on this bandwagon of asking this question. But the question was $10 trillion or 10 minutes with Jesus. And it just became a very interesting topic, I think, for a lot of people. And it was very interesting to hear some of the responses. And I was kind of surprised by most people, and their responses, especially some of the people that, I kind of follow or listen to. But, $10 trillion or 10 minutes with Jesus, me personally, give me the 10 minutes. Because I figure, of course, having the 10 minutes, you can have this conversation. And I mean, quite naturally, he's not just going to hand me over $10 trillion, but, the life lessons of how you can be better suited financially. Because scripture talks about how we're not to be indebted to people. We pay, what we owe, more or less, not to owe people anything. But I think I'd rather have the 10 minutes with Jesus. I want the life lessons. I want to know what I need to do and what I should do next. I mean, I could use some money, but I'd rather have the 10 minutes. What do you think?
I agree. It wouldn't be a second thought for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like you, 10 trillion is a lot of money, more than I would ever spend. But at this point in my life, I'll take the 10 minutes for 200, Alex, because along with everything that I pray for daily,
mm-hmm.
God's strength, his wisdom, his knowledge, his discernment, all of those things, I would rather have that
mm-hmm.
than because once I get money, and it brought to my mind the verse in the Bible where it says it's much easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to get into heaven. I don't want to put anything, if I take the 10 trillion, and if you're giving me this choice and I pick the money, that means I'm putting something before God.
Right.
And God has already told us, don't put anything before me. I'm a jealous God.
Right.
So I don't want to be on the left side with the goats on the last day, or standing in front of Jesus the last day and saying, I remember you had that offer 10 minutes with me, or $10 trillion.
But there are some people who would say that they take the $10 trillion, and that's where it kind of got questionable, because what the young lady said, the person that started it off, I can't exactly remember her name, but she was saying that she would rather take the $10 trillion because she can spend time with Jesus anytime.
But see, that means I'm making Jesus an option, and he made me a priority when he died.
Well, that's
just my thought.
No, and I get that. Do you think that if we took the 10 trillion, can I have the 10 trillion? It now? I mean, if you
see, Jesus could give me the 10 trillion if he wanted to,
right?
But maybe he already knows
mm-hmm.
how I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna be, and if I have the 10 trillion, I could build this building or that building. I could give money to this organization, that organization. But would I be doing it with a pure heart, or would I be doing it just because I got it like that? And if I got it like that, then that's pride. And that's one of the 7 deadlies.
Well, I get that. Now, for me, again, give me the 10 minutes. Because I'm kind of like you. I don't want to be, out in the valley, or being lost in this thing. I'd rather have the 10 minutes, because I know that there are life lessons that come with that. I know that God's got me covered no matter what, and things sometimes are just kind of like a test of our faith. It's kind of like finding an envelope full of money, and you're saying, okay, do I keep the money or do I turn it in? Like, is this God's way of saying, hey, take this money and put it toward your light bill, your mortgage, or whatever? Or do I have the conscience, to the heart, to, do I keep it? Do I turn it in? Do I, what do I do with it? I mean, I don't know. And I think some people, some people's responses were like, well, I'll just take the money and work something out with Jesus later. Like,
and see that type of negotiation to me is just like, it's to me, it's cut and dry. It's just not to be. It's almost like asking Jesus, can I get married and still have a boyfriend? You can't have both. And if you really go with the other instead of the one, with the one being Jesus, you reap all of the consequences that go along with that bad choice. And then, as usual, you come crying back to God,
right.
With all the problems that started when you made a bad decision or you picked the wrong thing.
Right. And so that's my thought exactly. I don't think that it's worth it to take the money, because the money runs out.
Now 10 trillion you'll have for a while.
Well, if you're one of those people, if you're taking the money, and you're one of those people who have never really just had anything, it goes, or you're not good with money. Like I see these people who have won the lottery. There's a show that used to come on, it still may come on, How the Lottery Changed My Life or something. This guy, and he was rather young, and he won so many millions of dollars, and he bought like this wrestling thing, and like he had this big arena or whatever you want to call it. Like he was just blowing his money and forgetting that you have to pay taxes on this stuff.
Absolutely.
And so had no concept of how to budget and invest. Well, he ended up having to sell a lot of what he bought just to kind of pay taxes on the money. I mean, and just to have some money in his pocket. Like people win money and they're broke probably within maybe a year or two, less than 5 years,
I agree.
And so if you've never had any money, if you've never had money, you've never learned how to budget, it could definitely be a prison for you if you're not careful,
Absolutely. And let's be honest, getting $10 trillion in one drop is a big, gigantic red flag to the IRS. They're going to be watching you when you buy a cheese sandwich.
Having $20 over what they sent you is, enough to say, hey, we overpaid you. Can we get our money back?
Look forward to being audited every single solitary year.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. As they say, more money, more problems.
I figured if I had $10 trillion, maybe I can like pay my troubles, my problems to go away. I don't know. I mean, I can buy a lot of bra and panty sets at Walmart for $10 trillion. I think I'll be doing.
I'll just pay somebody to shop for me.
I think I'll be doing pretty good.
I would have such a luxurious house if I took the money, which I wouldn't. But if I was of that mindset, I'd have such a luxurious house, and Walmart would come to me.
That is crazy. I mean, what would you even do with $10 trillion? I mean, can you imagine having that much amount of money like in your hands? Like, what? I'm one of these people. I like to give, and so I would want to do something. Of course, it's going to help somebody. I mean, there's my church, there's family. Like, I don't think I would want anybody in my immediate family to have to worry about money. Set the kids up, college fund, but I would want to do something that's gonna help people. And and that's the other thing about it too, because if the choice was here, well, maybe God is coming to you, maybe Jesus is like, listen, I'm giving you this money. Like, you don't. There's no choices. There's no strings attached. But here's this money, and so do good with it. Now he's giving you this money. What would you do with it? And most people, I mean, some people are not. but I think it still kind of goes back to some people how they will not do good with the money. They'll it's just not in some people to do, you know,
I
the
think
right
the thing
thing.
is not so much that it's not in them to do good things with it. I think they would be of the mindset of course, never having had this type of money before, all the stuff they've ever wanted, all the thing of I can buy what I want, I can go where I want, I don't have to work, I can do what I want, and just the freedom and exhilaration that they would feel. But like you said, not being so caught up in the moment, forgetting that there are legal responsibilities.
Yeah.
When you get this type of money. And I think they would get caught up in the exhilaration of money, money, money everywhere, and then end up getting sidetracked, and you turn around and like, how did I get here? I had $10 trillion. What happened?
You know, I feel like I would have somewhat of a boring life. I know that sounds crazy, but it's kind of like if you had everything, what do you do? Like what do you get? What do you get the person that has everything? Like I would want to travel, but I'm so afraid of flying. I mean,
I'm totally opposite. I would be bored at my private villa in Aruba.
I get that.
That's what I would be. So you got to get a plan.
Listen.
God says, here's $10 trillion. You got to already kind of have a plan. I mean, other than tithing, other than giving, other than doing good, you still have to have a plan.
Well, so let me ask you this. So you're in talking about him giving you 10 trillion. What if the option was you can have all this money, or you can take half of it or 1/4 of it? Would you take it all, or would you leave some for somebody else?
I would still trying to think rationally. I would take enough just for me to where I could tithe, take care of my immediate family, pay off my house, my car, and me not have to work and just travel and do what I wanted to do. I don't need all of it. As a matter of fact, I think you and I talked about this some months before when we were buying a lotto ticket. And you said the same thing that I had said when I was talking to God about it. You know, I know this is gambling, but if I'm blessed to win this, I don't have to have the entire pot, just enough for these things.
I get that. Because now, and while you're in this conversation with him, because I think for me, I would want to take, like you said, just enough, just enough to be okay and comfortable, and let somebody else, because if the idea is here's this money, take what you want. And I've seen on TikTok where someone is like, hey, here's $20. You can take this $20, or you can double it and give it to somebody else. And there are some people who are like, well, I'll take the 20, But there are some who are like, well, no, just double it. And I think the amount may be a little bit smaller, but they're like, just double it and give it to someone else. Like, if you're being like very rational and honest, like, would you really take the $10 trillion? Would you want Jesus to double it and give it to somebody else? If the idea is, okay, I can either heal you, or I can just give you $10 trillion. Like,
I think I'll take the healing for 200 hours. And I guess
with your 10 trillion, you could probably find you some very, very good doctors.
Well, see, and that's the thing. Now, as someone that has worked in healthcare, even though I'm IT, some of the things I've seen, the stories that I've heard, and I remember, you may not remember because you were born way later than me.
Well, thanks a lot. Thank you so much.
Well, that means you're much younger. That means you're younger. That was this little lady at church. I never will forget Miss Laura Pulliam, God rest her soul.
I miss Miss Laura.
I love Miss Laura. Every Sunday it would be, thank God for your health, baby. Thank God for your health. But when you're 8 or 9 years old, you're like, yes, ma'am, okay. But now you really, really embrace that.
Oh yeah.
And when you get older, your biggest asset is your health.
Oh yeah.
So I'll take the healing for 200.
I get that, and you're absolutely right, because I mean, again, in thinking, realistically, I'll take the healing any day.
Yeah.
I give me that, because again, to say, okay, well, I'll take the money. Well, you could probably take the money, but then now you're walking around with bad health and you can't really enjoy the money. You can't really enjoy doing anything with it. I'm watching The Chosen. I don't know if you've seen it.
I have been looking at that. I've seen
You've got to go back. You've got to go watch it.
Okay.
And if you guys have not seen The Chosen, this is I don't want to, it's not necessarily a documentary. It's more like a series. But it's based on the life of Jesus Christ. And it's really, 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 like really, really good. And I'm on season 3 now. I've been binge watching it for the last 2-3 days. But and I think it's season 2. I can't remember which episode, but Jesus was healing this young man who was he's a paraplegic. And so you have all these people there, his disciples, all these people, and they're trying to rationalize and get Jesus to understand, hey, just why aren't you healing this person instead of trying to forgive him of his sins and this and that and the third? And Jesus is like, is it easier to say you're forgiven of your sins, or is it easier for me to say you're healed? And that's a pretty big question. I mean, if you think about the fact that he's forgiven me of my sins, what that healing does for my body, mind, soul, and spirit, not just my legs.
Yeah.
I forgive me of my sins. Forgive me. I want my sins to be forgiven, because even within that, I'm still healed, and there's so much that's wrapped up in that. And they couldn't understand that. They were like, you're forgiving him of his sins, well, what about healing him? Like, I mean, he wants to walk, but they couldn't understand that. So when asking this question about taking the 10 trillion or 10 minutes with Jesus, I mean, most people will opt to honestly take the money. And it was a little bit surprising to hear, at least one that I saw who was a pastor say, give me the money, but it just kind of shows the heart of some people. But and I'm not trying to judge or bring anybody down, because I think in mind's eye, most people probably would just take the money. But the idea is to have the 10 minutes with Jesus, of course, because again, it's so much that you can get out of that. Give me some life lessons, give me some healing, let me spend that time with you. Because when she answered the question and said, well, I can spend any amount of time with him any day, my question in my head was, well, obviously you're not spending a whole lot of time with him, because
that's what I was about to say.
If you were, you wouldn't even right.
You're making Jesus an option.
Right.
I'll get with you later. Me myself, like I said, in taking the 10 minutes, and when I continue to think about it, I'm like, you know what? 10 minutes wouldn't be enough. Jesus would probably be sick of me and say, look, they said 10 minutes. You gotta go. Right. I got stuff to do. But call me.
Exactly.
Jesus and I would have a good laugh about it, and we'd all be fulfilled, and I would go on and do my daily prayers like I do every day anyway.
I'm just saying, I mean, but I thought it was kind of interesting it's a pretty interesting question,
Yeah.
And I see those kind of questions pretty much, a lot coming across social media. But I definitely, y'all take the 10 minutes, and especially now in the new year, in the new season, if you're turning over that leaf or whatever. I mean, think about the world around us and the climate that we live in. I mean, money isn't going to save you. It's not going to, get you into heaven. I mean, your good works isn't, it's the grace and the mercy, your salvation that does. But, the idea is learning how to be more saturated in the word, start spending time with God. You read your Bible, you pray, and spending time around people who are uh, like God minded, and that are godly and just seasoned. And yeah, I mean, because we need him. We need him now more than ever. I mean, we've always needed him, but this is, when you, in trying to not reinvent you, but you're turning over this leaf. You're trying to do better in life. You're trying to have a better, build a better foundation for yourself. This is where you start. You start with the word, you start with prayer, and you start with having a relationship with God, because that's where it starts. And because scripture says, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things will be added. And so definitely $10 trillion isn't going to get it. You've got to have something. You've got to have something solid. You've got to stand on something. Otherwise you fall for everything. So you definitely just start reaching out to him. Prayer changes things. I mean, my clients ask me, well, we'll get on the topic of of God, and they're like, well, I don't know where to start. I want to have a relationship with him, but I don't know where to start. And so it's always, well, get in your Bible. Just start in the middle, get in it, just start reading it. It doesn't matter. Or you can always buy you a like a precept book, a little Bible study book, because those things are very deeply rooted in scripture. Just start there. Your prayer is, Lord, help me to build more of a relationship with you. And I promise that when you pray that simple prayer, what he's going to do for you, and how he's going to talk to you. But you have to listen. You have to be still and listen. I think it's Jeremiah 55:10, where it says, my words go out, but they come back filled. So if you're putting it out there and you're having this conversation with him, it's going to come back filled. He's going to come back and he's going to speak to you. He's going to talk to you through scripture. He's going to put the right people in your path and in your place, and he's going to lead you, but you have to be willing.
Absolutely. I agree. And that was what I was going to just say, that you do have to be open and have an open mind when it comes to that. When you're talking to God, I mean, I know when I have developed my relationship with God. It's just like he's like you and I are talking right now. Regular conversation, asking the Holy Spirit to make what I say sound righteous in God's ear, and just like you said, just using other tools and to develop your relationship with God. But first, even if you come to him with a broken heart, he wants to heal you. He wants to make sure that you're fulfilled. So those are things that you will gain as you progress in your journey, and as you said, having the right people in your life, going to the right places, asking God to put you in the right situations, and asking him to let you know that this is definitely something that's of him. And you would be so surprised, so amazed, and just actually hearing God's voice, feeling his spirit, and just seeing him move and do things. I mean, you'll call them miracles, and that's exactly what they will be to you, because being in a position to be surrounded by those things. I mean, there's nothing better. $10 trillion could not bring you that feeling.
Oh no, it couldn't. And in The Chosen, this guy was, oh my goodness, he wasn't he wasn't a Pharisee. I can't remember. He was one of those, I guess, high priest people. And he'd run into Jesus, because I think at this point Jesus had performed one of his many miracles, and Jesus was having a conversation with him, and his thing was, well, just follow me. If this is what you want, follow me. And so this might have been next day, where Jesus was going through the city that they were in. It wasn't Capernaum, it might have been, but he left a bag of money The disciples found it, and Jesus was like, yeah, I know where this comes from. And he just stood there and he said, yet you were so close. You were so close. Because the idea is, instead of you giving up all that you have to follow me, you're leaving me money. You're leaving us money. Like you decided that it was just best for me to give you some change. Mm-hmm. That was his contribution to the discipleship, instead of following Jesus.
Which is what I meant when I said earlier about, if you had the 10 trillion, would you be doing so?
Right.
Giving and all of that out of a pure heart, or would it be just because you got it?
But now the guy who gave the money, now all of a sudden you feeling sad and bad and guilty because Jesus has basically called you out. Like you were so close. You were like right here. And that's the one thing that we have to remember in talking about the $10 trillion, whether you take it or not, the idea is having the relationship, because that's going to be more valuable and more richer for you than anything else. So, it's, I'm glad that the question was presented the way that it was presented when it was presented, because I think it made for a great conversation just on social media, itself, and everybody, chiming in, but we want to be careful about the choices that we make so that we don't miss the boat, because, I can remember Uncle Dura, and I think him and Patrick were having a conversation about something, and he might have asked them if they were rich or something. My kids have asked me that question, and I have given them the same response that Uncle Dura gave Patrick. Yes, I'm rich, but I'm only rich because my Father in heaven is rich. God is never empty-handed, and he's never where he can't give and provide and do. But yeah, I mean, I'd take the 10 minutes, any day. But if you haven't seen The Chosen, y'all have got to watch it. And I would honestly say that if you're looking, especially in this year, just in your life period, if you're looking for a way to really understand who God really is, who Jesus really is, watching The Chosen just brings the Bible more to life. It gives you a story. There's a backstory. I mean, I know it's cinema, and so there's always a backstory to anything, but it's really good to help understand a lot of kind of what you don't understand in the Bible. And that's what I like about it, like the character is actually asking the questions that when we read the Bible, now, why would Jesus say this? Or why would, like, he's literally asking these questions, but he's also giving an explanation too. So, it's kind of like a mini Bible study, but it's a series. Right now there's 5 seasons, and I'm on season 3. So I'll, be binge watching, until, I'm done and looking toward the next season. But I mean, it's a really good show. So
I'm gonna have to get into it.
Yeah.
I really am. And so, as you just mentioned about just that particular topic being out on the social and everyone kind of some people chiming in about what their choice would be. Mm-hmm. Just so still being socially minded, I just want to ask you this question. Okay. What's the most overrated thing in adulthood?
Life. Life. Can we just put it all in the bag and just say, like, my daughter, she's everything inquisitive. She's 9 years old, and she's like, Mom, I am so just afraid of being an adult. I said, honey, half the adults are afraid of being adults.
But half of the adults aren't. They're not even adults.
They're not even adults.
9 years old.
So I mean, but I would probably have to say, I you and I kind of talked about this a little bit. I would have to say the dream job. Like, there is no, like, does my job dream about me? I don't think my job dreams about me. No job dreams of you back. There,
And
what is a dream job?
As I told you when we were talking earlier, I have no dream job. I do not dream of labor. But for me, it would be, when you're not an adult, you're thinking, because when you're a kid, it's always you're being told what to do, what you can and cannot have, what you can and cannot eat,
right,
where you should and should not go, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
So it's all the thing of, well, when I get grown, I can do what I want,
right,
I can go where I want, I can have what I want. And all of a sudden, my job doesn't pay me enough to buy that. I can't go here and there because I don't have enough vacation time or the money to go there. And truthfully, places that I kind of wanted to go, Mom was right. I really shouldn't go there. So some things just kind of come back to me just in hindsight. It's like, she was right to tell me no.
Right. No, I get that. Growing up, I don't think I ever had a dream job. Like this is the thing that I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to go to school, go to college. At some point, after changing degrees or majors, like maybe twice, I settled on the one, and I enjoy what I do. I think this is my calling, my ministry. But I don't, I'm sure there are a lot of adults today who look back and go, just why? Like, here I am. And why? Like, because some of the people that I know who have gone to school, let's just say for engineering, and you're working at Foot Locker or Hibbett's, or, you're not exactly in that field. And I think a lot of it is just the burnout. I think a lot of it is, well, this isn't exactly where I wanted, to land, but, but yeah, the dream job, I think that's a little bit overrated. Like, this is my dream job. My dream job that I spent $100,000 to get, that is not paying me the amount of money to pay back student loans. Like, this was my dream. My dream was to be broke. Is that what you're telling me? Like, this is not.
And then when you look at with some people, like, like I said, I have two jobs. Mm-hmm. I have my full-time job. I'm an IT business analyst, and part-time I do light housekeeping at a local hospital. And there are people on the part-time job who have done this housekeeping work for decades. They are happy. They enjoy what they do. They're surrounded by very passionate, dedicated caregivers. Mm-hmm. The patients know and love them. Even when they come to the hospital, they kind of get like special treatment, because the nurses know them, the doctors know them, the people in the medical offices, they know them. Right. And they're not making anywhere near a lot of money, but they're fulfilled, they're happy, they enjoy doing what they do, being able to make sure that patient's room is sanitized, down to the last detail. They enjoy making sure that they're proud that the rooms are clean. So, looking at it from that perspective, of course, like we were talking about the money earlier, it's not always about the money. It's about what you do, how it makes you feel. And I get so much joy out of hearing them talk about, I enjoy my job, I love what I do. I could make more money if I did this, that, and the other thing, but I like it here.
Well, in talking about enjoyment and liking it here, I'll give you another one. Marriage. The most overrated.
Says the single person.
The most overrated. Now, I'm happy for those who are in it, and they're living life. I love these marriages that are like 50 and 60 years, you know what I'm saying, in the making. And people who have these stories about, yeah, girl, I done put my man out, my husband, I put him out 3 times, and we worked it out, and this and that and the third, and it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of praying. I will be honest and say that during my years, it's like, yeah, I'm going to get married. I'm going to have a husband. I'm going to be this wife.
I said the same thing. And here I sit.
And I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Oh, listen. Oh, my goodness. And, you know, all things to my 9-year-old who says, okay, I'm not going to be an adult and I'm definitely not having any kids. I don't think I'm getting married. I said, well, you know what? You are free to do whatever you want, because let me tell you something. And I'm sorry for the people who are married, and some people, I'm saying what you're thinking. Marriage is for the birds. I would not advise my worst enemy. Yeah, girl, go ahead and get that man and let him put a ring on it and get a husband. I will not endorse.
Here we are on every platform, even before social media became a thing. That's what you were supposed to do. You're supposed to get a husband.
No.
And you spend so much time trying to look a certain way, be a certain way, so you could get chosen. And then as you live, you find out, I'm happy for the ones that are happy.
No. You know. I don't know how many times I have looked over at the person that I'm with or was, and have looked at him and to myself and went, if I could. If I could do it and not get caught.
Well, see, that reminds me of this little program I was listening to on the radio decades ago, and it was so funny. Is these two little white ladies talking, and they were kind of going through the same thing. She didn't like her husband, and the other lady didn't like her husband either. And the one lady said, well, I kind of thought about divorce. And the other lady just clutched her pearls like, you know, divorce. She said, now, murder, yes, but divorce, no, I would never get divorced. No, never divorce, never. So it's just one of those things, you know, where, and even with today, I'm thinking you're going to have a total health screen, because you know you got men who used to be women and women who used to be men, and you got to have a health screen, a total background check, a credit check. You got to run the whole gamut. You will sign a prenuptial agreement. And I thought about myself, is it really even worth all that?
Listen, it's no, and that's why I say, you know, you listen, I just I can't. Like, I'm like the two old ladies, like, you know, murder maybe.
But divorce. But you know never know. So you know they always catch them, so you can't do that.
But I think I watch enough crime shows.
Yeah.
I've watched enough SVU to kind of, But you know, again, some people they are where they are, and you know, and they love it, they enjoy it. You know, my couples who come in for therapy, you know, it's all about, well, what can we make work? What's working already, you know, and never try to lead them into getting one. I always say, go back, pray about it, listen to God, and just let him lead you to, you know, whatever direction you want to go. But, if you can,
I would be one of those people to where I would be like, okay, yeah, I understand all that, Miss Sharita, but you know, Miss Sharita, I'm just sick of him.
Listen, and I have gotten down to the bare bones where I have taken off that therapist hat and went, look, girl, you gotta go. Like, cut your losses, just take the L, you know, and don't look back. Take the L. Just take the L. Don't look back. Just don't do it. I mean, because this is me. Like, I am, like, as being a therapist, the one thing that I do is that I try to be honest. I try to be genuine. I try to be whatever they need me to be in a moment, because they will sit there and tell me sometimes, look, Miss Sharita, I need you to be honest with me. Like, such and such and such and such. Okay. Yeah. Take the L. Just don't even think about paying your mortgage. Go down to that courthouse and pay for that application and just do it. Because here, and that's why I say I'm saying what a lot of people are thinking. It's like, because you become tired and you become exhausted, because I think a lot of our men will look at their women, as y'all can do it all. Well, women become exhausted. We become exhausted, and whether we have children or not, it's a lot to fix a plate and to do these things, and because I used to be in that place where, okay, I'm gonna fix the plate, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. It becomes exhausting, and then with having kids, it becomes even more tiring.
Oh, I can only
because you're having to take care of, some extra people. But I'm like, if I could just do it all over again, I'm just saying this may be one part of my life that I could probably just, say okay and just kind of, do it out a little bit. But I mean,
looking for that reset button.
Man, like the Nintendo, what? Hit the reset switch and
maybe we can go to Staples and see if they sell one of those big round easy buttons.
Listen, I have one and push it. Listen, somebody was saying marriage should be like turning in a library book, or when you have to renew your lease.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you got 2 years and now it's time to renew. Do you want to renew? Or do you want to say, you know what? I don't think I want to do this anymore. Like,
let's do that. Let's do that.
I think you should. I think that should be a thing where, you treat it like, you're getting ready to renew a lease on your apartment or whatever. It's like you have an option. Either I'm going to renew it for another 2 to 3 years, or I'm just gonna be like, you know what, I'm out, deuces. Like,
I'm gone on to something else.
I'm done. But in talking about that now, here's a question for you. In talking about $10 trillion and what being overrated as an adult, what's the worst thing money can't fix?
I would think money can't fix a bad attitude.
Definitely not that. I don't care how much money you throw away at it. Stupid is just stupid all day.
Stupid is stupid. Not being a narcissist, you become worse.
True. I get that. I would say regret.
True.
Regret.
True.
It can't. Yeah. That's it can distract you from it. It can distract you from regret, but it can't undo it.
I agree. It can't do that. I don't think it can fix if you don't feel good about yourself. Type of thing. Like you said, it'll just be a distraction.
Right. Peace of mind. There's loneliness.
Exactly.
You talk about the self-respect and, different things. But yeah, I mean, people talk about money buying happiness. Money can't buy you happiness.
It really cannot. Yeah. I mean, it can fix those very superficial things like bills and whatnot, but it truly can't, because if you're around me just because I have all this money, then you're not here for me. You're just here for the stuff.
Now, I may be able to pay Idris Elba to spend.
Girl, no, I like him, but
don't you talk about him. Don't you talk about him. Don't talk about my man.
I'm just telling you, I don't like my brother-in-law. Okay, I don't like him. He has some really. Take some of that 10 trillion and you're going to have to be his therapist. I don't like my brother-in-law. No. I will stand up at the wedding and be that person that they say, if anyone has anything to say, it will be me. You. What's wrong with it? Listen, the family drama has already started.
Whatever. He could tell me to go outside in 10,000 degree heat and dig him a ditch.
No.
Really, boo? You need me to dig you 2 ditches?
No,
You want 3 ditches? I'll dig
and
you 3.
And from what I've heard, he is of the mindset that would actually ask someone to do that. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Ham or turkey. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No. That it's a hard no for me. I'm like sorry, Idris. But no.
Listen, I'm gonna have to take one for the team. That's fine. I'll take him.
I'll take him. You would sever our sistership.
Listen, I've known you long enough. I have known you long enough. I mean,
so wounded.
We have taken plenty vacations together. It's all good. It was fun while it lasted.
And you're gonna let this man come between us?
Listen, look, yeah, it was a nice ride. Thank you.
I'm telling Mama.
Thank you. It was nice. It was fun. Appreciate it. I like him. I mean, and you know, of course I've never had the pleasure of meeting him. I know a lot of people have, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'll take my chances.
Okay.
Yeah. That's okay.
Well, don't come crying to me when
it'll listen, the therapy would be worth it. I think the therapy would be worth it. I'll take my chances. I'll take my chances. I like Mr. Idris. But no, I mean, you know, you definitely and all these things that we, you know, kind of talk about. I mean, you know, but I think these are questions that typically come up that people kind of play around with, you know, but they're kind of a little thought provoking. Definitely, you know, some of these things that you really do think about, but maybe you don't readily have somewhat of an answer to, or, you know, you think it, but you don't necessarily say it, you know, like you talk about the things being overrated, you know, in adulthood, you know, it's all the things that we go through, you know, the marriage, you know, the dream job, the like having the big house. You know, is it really, you know, is it, because once the novelty wears off, you know, then what? I remember when we moved in here, and this house is relatively big. It's huge for us compared to, you know, the first one that we had. I mean, it was, you know, it was the first home, you know, and I was so happy. I got this big house. I'm loving it. When it came time to organize and clean, I became so overwhelmed. You know, and it's like now I see other people with big homes and I go, well, I mean, are you really utilizing all the space? Are you in all the rooms? Having a big home is nice, but again, once the novelty wears off,
yeah, you know, and see, I'm just the opposite. Like I said, I'm a household of one, and my house is 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, but it's a very small house, 1 car garage.
Right.
And even with it just being a small home, when you've got to mow the front yard, mow the backyard, when you want to do something like paint, and I wanted to be smart. Oh, I don't have to paint it back. I do it myself. I do it myself. Once I was 10 minutes in, and I was about to pull out all of my hair. But I finished it when I did the walls, and I redid the ceiling. And I saved a lot of money, but it was working 2 jobs. It took forever. It took so much time. And like I said, this is a small house, a very small house. I mean, maybe 1,100, 1,200 square feet, very small. But it's just me, so it's plenty of room.
Right.
But when you're even just a home period, when you're doing it all by yourself, when you're managing it all by yourself, when you're taking care of the things that you can take care of. Now, when it comes to plumbing or electricity or something with the garage, you have to call somebody and pay them.
Right.
And then you have to hope you don't get cheated and gypped out of your money.
Right.
But it's a big responsibility.
It's a big responsibility. It's a big responsibility.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It becomes a lot. But, you know, of course, you know, we don't judge people or anything who, if you have your home is your home, and you make your home what it is. I mean, I love where I am. I love my home. I love
I
everything
love your
about
house
it.
too.
Yeah.
I like your neighborhood with the
Well, thank you.
trees and the. I just every time I visit, I have such a wonderful time. It's very peaceful, very very tranquil.
Well,
I just love the whole setting. I really do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's cozy. Yeah. It's nice, and you know, with a lot of room, and you know, the kids, you know, they of course they have their own space, and you know, they enjoy that. You know, I appreciate, you know, God being able to, of course, provide for us to even have this home and to be able to keep it and pay for it. We would have been here probably actually 6 years now. Was just like a few days ago. So yeah, this would be 6 years for us. So it's relatively nice. I mean, you know, to be able to fill it with love and laughter and prayer and just like I enjoy it because the lady that lived here, we're the second owners. Mm-hmm. She was here for a little over 30 years, I think. Okay. You know, had her children here. And you could just kind of tell walking in was just, you could tell there were memories. Yeah. You could feel the memories. And she really wanted the house to go to someone who would take care of the home. And I think she had a little bit of a hard time letting go. I can remember my realtor saying, okay, well, you know, write her a letter and da 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 da, you know, if you really want this home. And wrote her a letter, and we were kind of like down to the wire, you know, and we said, well, we, you know, really would like the home. Can you give us, you know, until whatever day to make a decision or whatever? And her realtor wanted her to just like, hey, you already got an offer on the table, just sell. And she was like, no, I told them that I was going to wait, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. And she did, and we ended up getting approved for the house, and you know, here we are. So and it was funny because weeks after we'd gotten the home, she was like, you know, I left such and such, can I come back and get this plant? Or because she had some bamboo sticks behind the house. She was like, well, can I come back and get them? I'm like, sure, you know, like come back and get, you know, whatever you want. And if it was something that I needed, when it came to, let's just say, pipes, plumbing, you know, whatever, and I would call her and I would say, hey, what do we do about this, or what do we do about that? And she, you know, kind of walked me through some stuff. Well, if you need me to come down there to show you this and that and the third, you know, I will. And so, you know, it was just nice to kind of have that, you know, exchange. But you know, exactly. We're just, you know, we're very very grateful and thankful. So I appreciate you, you know, saying that. You know, this has been a pretty good night in talking about this topic. I think it's, again, it's one of these questions that, again, thought provoking. I think it's one of these questions that kind of makes you question the why. You know, I mean, you know, we have sat here tonight and talked about money and meaning, and you know what actually matters. And maybe coming from this, you know, the real question isn't what you choose, but why would you choose it?
Exactly.
You know,
that's my thing. Yeah. And I was just going to also add that as we go into this new year, let's give yourself the grace to grow and take a step back and think about things. Yeah. You don't have to rush in, and it's okay not to know the answer. It's okay to say you don't know, even to yourself, especially when you're having your conversations with God. It's good sometimes just to sit quietly and just, you know, free your mind. If there's something you need to think about, give yourself the grace and the time. There's not a race. There's no time limit. Just to sit back and think about things, to see, you know, when you make certain decisions, as you just said, why you're making those decisions. So you can get some benefit from that decision, not just in the moment that you make it, but next month, the next year, further down the road. Make sure those blessings and all that goodness follow you. Like when you say the Lord's Prayer, goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. Yeah. Making sure you set yourself along a path for that with the decisions that you make.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I mean, I don't think I could have put that in any better way. So I definitely appreciate that. Well, listen, Connie, this was great, and again, Connie being my co-host, give her a hand, everybody. She is so wonderful. We need to have, give you this great shout out and just thank you for coming on and being here. And hopefully join me again next week and the week after. Like this is great to be able to have this share. Of course, always. So this was good. And thank you guys for tuning in tonight again. I, wish you a very happy new year, a prosperous new year, a new year where you get to grow and go and be. And like Honey said, give yourself some grace, get closer to God, definitely building that foundation because again, we're living in that climate and, we need him of course now more than ever. But if you're still, debating this $10 trillion or 10 minutes, I would say choose the 10 minutes. You can never take the 10 minutes. You can never go wrong with that. But we really do appreciate your time. We appreciate you tuning in and listen. Join us here every Thursday, 7 p.m. on Hindsight Media Radio 103.5 FM. Listen, if no one has told you, you are wonderful, you are great, you are loved, be you. Go out here and conquer the world. And listen, Lord's will, we will see you back here next week. So come back and join us again. Listen, you guys have a good one and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.